Hey guys, what's up? Really quick before we get into the video, I just wanted to tell you, I want you to pay really close attention to the knee angle on the squat and lunge exercises I'm about to show you. Knee angle is what makes the difference between front squat, low bar squat, and all these lunge variations I'm about to show you. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy, I hope you learn something. We're going to start with a low bar squat. Now because the bar is sitting lower on the back, you're forced to push your hips further back. So the hip angle is greater, meaning you're going to get more work from your glutes. But the knee angle is less, so you're going to get less work from the quads. As you can see, my knees are barely coming past my toes, or may even be directly in line with my toes. And when you go to a high bar squat, you'll immediately see I'm way more upright, and my knees are coming way further forward than they do with the low bar squat, meaning the quads are doing a whole lot more work. Now, the front squat, you'll see that my knees are coming even further forward and I'm even more upright with my upper body. Because of that, the front squat is probably going to do way more work for the quads than the other two variations. The story is exactly the same when it comes to the lunges. The greater the knee angle, the more stress on the quads. So here you see me doing kind of a quad dominant lunge. My steps are relatively short, and you can see where my knee is falling at the bottom of the movement, about even with my toes. I'm also making sure to stay as upright as possible. This next exercise is called a Lannister lunge, named after Tyrion Lannister. And you see why here, because I'm taking really short steps. And as you can see, the knee is coming pretty far past my toes. So the quad has to go through a much longer range of motion with this variation of the lunge. This is more of a glute dominant lunge. I'm taking pretty long steps. As you saw in that rep, my knee didn't even come even with my toe. And I'm bending mostly at the hips, so my glutes are going through a much longer range of motion. This is a front lunge. This can be combined with any of the other lunge variations that I showed you. Lannister, you could step wide, you could step short, doesn't matter. But as you see, my upper body is pretty perfectly upright. So that's one way to add variation into your lunges. This is the Bulgarian split squat. A lot of people think of this as like a girl exercise or whatever, but I assure you it's not. And the interesting thing about this exercise is in EMG studies, where they measure activity of the muscle, it actually does about the same amount as a standard squat. So that's one thing to consider. Now you saw me hopping around. That's because it's kind of hard to find your balance on this exercise. So one thing to fix that, a way to fix that, is to grab onto something and use it to balance yourself while you perform the exercise. And the rules are still exactly the same. The hip and knee angle dictate everything. Now here we have an exercise you may have never seen before. This is the standing leg extension. Now the difference between a standing leg extension and the seated one is the standing will hit one particular head of your quadricep, which is the rectus femoris. And no other quad exercise, and I mean no other quad exercise, will hit your rectus femoris like this will. And I explain more in my article on the quads, which you can see in the link in the description. Here's another exercise you probably have never seen before. This is the Brignoli squat, named after Doug Brignoli. You can do this with any cable machine. Don't worry about the machine that I'm using here. But the special thing about this exercise is the line of resistance is coming from in front of you. And so this exercise feels like a combination between a squat and a leg extension. It's really, really unique, and it will, just try it. Trust me, you'll feel it. Now here we've got the good old regular seated leg extension. A couple things to consider. You want to try to get your knee equal with the pivot point of the machine. You also want to put the pin as far back as possible so you can get as long of a range of motion as you can.